Greetings YouTube and welcome to my latest crafting video, also not a weapon. Now a lot long ago I modified, well not modified, but I added to my machine vise 4 magnets. Here's the 4th one. And I love this thing. This is a very simple modification. I just screwed these Harbor Freight magnetic bases onto this with some M8 bolts. This is an M8 125 16 millimeter. So I paid $52 for these. I paid $5 for those. For $57, I made a magnetic base for my vise. Love this thing. It is so fast and so simple to set up. However, it does not solve all my problems. This is my drill press. I love my drill press. Though I'm contemplating and seeing if I could put a bigger motor on this thing, because this is a 1/2 horsepower motor. I want to find out if it's possible to put a bigger horsepower motor on here without destroying the thing. If it is, I will like to put like just a 3/4 on here. That would be cool. Okay, and it came with a vertical stop in the back, but the vertical stop requires you to use these grooves, which means monkeying with bolts and fasteners, and when you go to tighten it down, when you're in the process of tightening the screws, it moves. It is not an exact, it's very difficult to get an exact measurement exactly where you want it. You're always tinkering with it and you're tapping and stuff. It's a pain in the butt and it's not fast. Okay, this is incredibly fast. Plop it down there, flick these on, and it stays in place. Done. Okay, it's awesome. So I would like to make something that does a similar thing on a vertical nature using 2 of these, because I've got 4 of them and it's really easy to take them off, put them on another one, and put them back again when I need it. I don't need to buy more of these. And I'm going to try using this block here. And so this is a fixture of some variety. Now I think, if I'm not incorrect, originally this says 2 of these, and they're designed to do this. And I believe I did a little research on it, and the company logo is somewhere on here. Yeah, the Omaton. Can you see that? Can you see Omaton? It's weird. It's very flat. It means as in like a flat color, but it's called Omaton. And I think this was designed for holding tablets. So you'd like stick a tablet, you know, in here to keep it in storage, or when you're charging it so it's out of the way. So what I'd like to do is take this, because this is a giant piece of aluminum T, and do that with it. I'm going to use these 2 washers, because I'll be using 2 of these magnets to lift this up, because this is just ever so slightly too long, and I don't want to modify this more than I have to. I'm not going to take off this padding here. I'll leave that there. This one's going to have to come off because I want this aluminum to be right up against this surface here. I want that nice and flush. And so I'll remove this. I'll keep these because they're usable, and I may find another use for them in the future with this or with another device, so I don't want to lose those. And I'm going to want to space it up a little with these, so that, again, like I said, it's just a little bit too long. It's like just like these. How much? There's a little slight. You put those on there, and it's a perfect fit. So take this off, this piece of rubberized thing. Set up. I'm actually going to take off 2 of them. Take off 2 of them, because the one on the bottom that actually comes in contact with this, I don't mind that being there, but I want to drill into a flat piece of aluminum. So take off 2 of these on one side, and then figure out where I want the holes to be. I'd be as accurate as possible, and then drill 2 holes, just through holes. They don't have to be fancy, just through holes. Put this on there and bolt it all together, and I think I can do that without having to get more bolts. I think I can make the M8 16 millimeters work with this. Even if they bottom out slightly, I can always stick a washer in it. I have a washer. This is what came with these bases already, and I can always add more. I've got lots and lots of washers in my fastener collection. So I'll be able to lift that, take up that space so that it snugs down nice and tight on this base. And then this should be a simple 2-hole process. And the reason I'm doing this is that I have a couple of projects coming up in the near future I want to do, and these projects are going to require me to make a number of holes, and I want to have exactly the same spacing between a stop and the drill bit, because I want the spacing between the stop and the drill bit to be exact, and I want to have it fast and repeatable, and I don't want to have to keep resetting my machine or doing it by eye by making, you know, dots on a making impressions in something and hoping I've gotten those all in the right direction, the correct distance. If I have a stop, I just put one measurement, the dots, boom, 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 and they should all, as long as I'm pressed up against this stop, and there'll be 2 of these magnets, and that's, I think, 50 pounds of force. I think that's what it is, or 60 pounds of force. These are pretty strong. Does it say what? It doesn't say what the strength on these things is. It's in the packaging. I just don't know what the packaging is at the minute. But yeah, I think it's like 50 or 60 pounds with 2 of these. So that's plenty of force for me just to push up against the stop, drill it, move it down, push it against the stop, drill it, move it down. You get the idea. And that also means that this will be another, just like this, fast, rapid setup, easy to move, exact. These are very easy to just go dook, dook, and you're all set. This could be another one of those game changers where I'm making a fixture that will help me build other things rapidly and easily. And I'm a big believer in both rapid and easy. So strip this down, strip this off, so I get that out of my way. Actually, I'm mistaken. I want to get this one off and that one off. Why don't I take all 4 of them off? We'll see how sticky it is. Let's get one off and see what it looks like. I may want to lose all of them. I'm not positive. Again, washers are cheap and I've got lots of them, so that's not a problem for spacing. I literally have thousands of them. So washers I have in abundance. M8s, however, are not, because I had to go get these particularly for this Vice project, because of course this thing can't be a 5/16 or a 3/8. You know, I mean, I've got 5/16 and 3/8 coming out of my ears. No, it's got to be metric. Of course it does. Okay, so let's take this apart. Let's strip off some of this and see what it looks like underneath. See how difficult it is to clean off. And if it's not too bad, I'll get all of it off, and then we can start setting this up to get the holes drilled in it. Decided to go with taking all of the padding off of this surface. I left it on the bottom because I would like to be able to have that kind of little bit of an extra grip when I'm pushing an object against it. These 2 pieces of padding, which were the larger pieces, on these sections here, I kept those because those are actually nice padding. I may find a use for those. The rest of it is all getting trashed. And I used this putty knife here, as well as some steel wool and some rubbing alcohol to get as much of the off as possible, and I'm happy with it. That's good enough for me what I need to do. So now I need to take some measurements and figure out the exact distance I need to drill holes. So I need to figure out what the center of this is, which is going to be a bit of a pain to get that exact measurement. I'll probably take a reading from here and here, and then take a measurement of the diameter, and then do some math. Because I guess technically I could just do it. I could do it by eye and do one step above that. Because so long as I have this and this are not binding on the table, if this and this are not 100% perfectly in alignment, it doesn't matter a great deal, because these will still hold this vertically, and that's at the end of the day, that's the issue. If these things are not perfectly square, if they're slightly skewed in either direction, it doesn't matter so much, because everything will still be at right angles to each other. That's the big issue. So yeah, let's take some measurements, and then drilling this is going to be a pain in the ass, because this is an awkward shape to drill, but I'll figure it out. So I need to figure out what size this is. I'm going to need to be, I don't know what the outside diameter of an M8 is. I have to find out so I know what size hole I have to do. And I'm using ASE, or either imperial drill bits rather than metric drill bits, so I'm going to have to go up one step above whatever that is. So that's going to give me a little smidge of wiggle room anyway. Okay, let's figure out what hole I need. Let's do some basic layout lines, and then we can drill this thing. And I'll show you how I'm going to clamp this when I figure out how I'm going to clamp this. Alright, so this is how I'm going to have to do this particular drilling process. I'm using a wooden block here to give this the support it needs, but it also means that this is not interfering with my bed. I'm using my Bremen clamp, because this is just not going to cut it at this particular moment, and it would take me longer to figure out a way to make this work than just use this. And I am using a 5/16 bit, I think. Is it 5/16? Give me a second. Yeah, 5/16 bit on this particular one. It's a brand new bit, never use it for anything. So I was going to see how it, but we are only drilling aluminum, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. I'm still going to put a little bit of oil on here. There we go. And we're going to have it shot and see what happens. And there we go. Let's see how it looks. Take this off carefully because I need to put that back on for the next side. I have a crappy rag here I use for wiping oil and such off. And there we go. Nice clean hole. No discernible burrs on the bottom. That's always a nice thing. And the hole fits just barely. That's a really tight hole. The difference between a M8 and a 5/16 is not much, but it is quite good. And then we're going to see how that works when I finally get around to assembling the whole thing together and see if I have to open that hole up or not. So now I got to set this up again from the other side and do the same thing, which won't be all that exciting for you folks. But now that I've shown you actually how I went into the trouble of clamping it, so I'm all set. And I apologize in the past. I realized I had been filming from here and not realizing when I filmed that my arm was in the way. And in fact, I did it so infrequently I didn't catch it for like 2 or maybe even 3 videos. So now I'm going to make an effort to film from this direction so that you can actually see what the heck I'm doing, which will be a nice touch, don't you think? And let's hear it for scrap blocks of wood. Very, very handy for the strange places I have to clamp things sometimes. Okay, so I've got the unit set up. I did have to walk this hole here on my drill bit a little bit to kind of make it just a smidge wider. Apparently the measurement from one side to the other wasn't the same, and I didn't take that into consideration, so they're not perfectly symmetrical and my setup wasn't perfectly symmetrical. So this one worked out of the gate perfect. I think that was probably the first one I had done, and this one was a little off, so I had to put them on the drill bit and just kind of walk it, make it a little bit wider. But I thought I'd show you what this actually is going to do for me. So. And I have to use 2 hands to stop this thing at the moment because this hub has still not been repaired. I still have to do that. But this is the goal. This is why you use a sacrificial block when you're drilling out holes on wood. This is my sacrificial block, so I don't care. So there you go. This is what the goal was to make sure that these holes are the same distance from the back. Because again, I have some project coming up where this is going to be an efficient addition to my process, and means I'm not going to have to worry about setting things up. Once I get that one setup done and I know the distance they have to be apart from each other, I know the boom, 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 and they're all going to be the same spacing from the back edge of that to the center. And that going to make my life a lot easier when it comes to this particular kind of process. And again, if I want to move this thing, it's that fast. And again, these are $13 a pop at or 14. Was it 14? It was $13 a pop. It was 12 something. 13 bucks a pop at Harbor Freight, and so for the cost of 52 bucks, I had enough of them to do my vise, and in case this is something you would do more often than have a vise, for the cost of 26 bucks and a couple of M8 bolts, you're good to go. And I didn't even have to get new bolts. The washers I used here in the spacing in the bottom work perfect, and I reused the washers that I had used on my vise, and again work perfect. So everything is now exactly where I want it to be. And now that I will not be using this as often as the vise, so I'll be taking this apart when this video is over, and then I will put those back on my vise and keep this stored. And fortunately, when it comes to this, I really don't have to store much at all except for the two washers, and I'll probably just throw those back in the container. I know what size they are, so I can probably grab two more in the future. But so yeah, so I hope you guys have appreciated this. It was a fun little build. It didn't take me long. It was just 2 holes after I did the cleanup and the layout and everything. But it's going to add some more utility to my shop and to my drill press. Though I got to tell you, I really would love this thing were stronger. That would make my life easier if it had a bigger motor to it. 3/4 power would be a big bonus. A horsepower or more would be even better. At some point in the future, I would love to own a 20-inch full upright drill press, shop floor kind of thing, like industrial type. But that's even the best prices I can find for like decent quality ones are like 800 up, and the one like I saw recently, which looked really nice, was like 14 or 17 or something like that. That's outside my budget right now, but that would be cool someday to have one of those, because that would make things a lot easier for me in the long run, because it would just have so much more power, more versatility, more stability, more speed options, and have them be able to more easily exchange them from speed to speed, because this uses belts. And it's a physical thing, so you have to open up the top, and you got to move the belts. And it's a pain in the butt. I just keep it at the lowest RPM, because I spend most of my time drilling steel. But yeah, I'm happy with this. This is going to be cool. The disadvantage to this process, and I freely admit this, is that this is the one limiting factor, because I have this here, and I didn't want to lose this. But it means that, because I want to have the ability at some point in the future maybe be able to clamp to this for drilling things like edgeways. That's why I didn't want to do that, so I didn't want to get rid of this. But it means that this can potentially come in contact with this. Obviously, I made sure that it didn't for this video. So I may have to get myself a drill bit extension. I may have a drill bit extension somewhere in my collection, so that I can use that for standard sized drill bits. So that make them a little bit longer if they have to get closer to this. So we'll see how that works out. And again, getting an extension for a drill bit is not a big deal. So thanks for being here, folks. I hope that you had a good time. I hope that you come back for the next one.